Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to the Sunday night football takeaway show. I hope you're all keeping well. And as you can see, we've got a panel already building up, and we've got one more coming in now, and he's giving us a nice welcome, as always. Welcome to the show, Welcome, everyone. So, hope you're all keeping well.
End the stream.
End the stream. End the stream. Let's start off with the panel first of all. And Hot Fuzz, how you keeping?
Getting by, living, just somewhat. You know, it's not easy out here being a United fan. Watching a Spurs B/C team come to Old Trafford and boss you with 64% possession, score 2 goals against you with Richarlison, Brennan Johnson, and Timo Werner leading the line. It's not easy out here. But aside from football, we're doing all right.
Yes, not too bad at all. Anthony, what about yourself?
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. Me myself, I watched the United in the Spurs game. Do you know what? I thought, well, from an outsider's point of view, it wasn't a bad game. A scoreline 2-2. I think it worked in the favour of Arsenal, of us. But yeah, all good.
Good. And I'll go on to Uncle Rods. Welcome onto the channel, mate. First time on here. How are you keeping?
I am very well, my friend. Very well. Pleasure to be on. I watched bits of the game today with the Man United and Tottenham game. So I feel your pain. Hot Fuzz, I feel your pain. Do you know what I mean? But, the way it goes sometimes. We've been through it. We've been through it. So
been through it for 30 years.
Well, not that long, but you know what I mean. We did win stuff in between there, but I can't really see Man United winning the stuff that we won in between there. But you never know.
Of course.
You never know. But so pleasure to be on your show.
Thank you much, mate. Thank you very much. Good to be on. Thanks for having you on. Jez, I'll go with you, mate.
Yeah, well, good, man. It's been a relaxing weekend with under no stress from the Arsenal. It's been a good weekend. I've been going on watch-alongs, channels, and had to put up with the Yeti. It's been a bit of a nightmare on that part, but it's been good fun. I've enjoyed it. Really enjoyed this weekend.
Yeah,
do different watch-alongs. It's good.
Brilliant.
And, thanks for inviting me back.
No, pleasure, mate. Always. And we save the best till last. Yeti, how are you, matey?
Well, I mean, you know me, I always keep it real, so I'm absolutely hungover as fuck, to be honest. I mean, it was a massive day yesterday with the drinks and the streams and things like that. So, big up to you for having me on and all you legends on this panel as well. Yeah, I'm hanging in there, mate. I'm hanging in there.
That's the best thing. That's good to hear. So anyone in the chat, just make sure, as you see all these guys on the panel itself, stream to their channels. Don't forget to share and subscribe. Great people, great content. And as you know, we're here to talk about what's gone on for this week. But we'll go into the chats first of all. So Wolfgang, we should get a takeaway. Big up early doors, smash the likes. Thank you, matey. Another Newcastle man here, John Sinclair TV. Big up my friend, great content. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, mate. And as we know, Carl Rossi, I think we don't have a show without this man on board.
Yeah.
Get the fucking drinks ready and snacks. Another Arsenal man, old school gunner. How are we doing, Dave? Hi, Tony. Great to see you back, creating regular quality content. The sky's the limit. Thank you much, mate. Appreciate that. Favourite takeaway people in detail. Oh, let's go on with this one first of all before we carry on. Favourite takeaway people. So in the panel, we'll start off with Yeti.
Favourite takeaway?
Yeah.
Well, it'd have to be fucking pizza or lasagna, wouldn't it, really? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to make that sound interesting, to be quite honest with you. I'll tell you what, we'll have lasagna filled with lager or pizza filled with, chemicals.
Well, I think they already are anyway, but, it's another story. Uncle Rods, what's your favourite?
Caribbean. Some jerk chicken, rice and peas with some plantain and some
no jollof?
fried dumplings.
Fried dumplings. Say no jollof?
Any succotash?
Yeah, none of that. Simple man, you're a simple man. You just
Yeah, listen. I did it. I'll just keep it simple and fill my belly. I've just had I had today for dinner. I had fried chicken, white rice, breadfruit, and some coleslaw.
nice.
Oh, lovely! It was lovely.
Nice.
Who used to say suffering succotash?
That's that
Sylvester the cat, wasn't
Cartoon, wasn't it?
Yeah.
it? Yeah, Sylvester the cat.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Because you had a lisp at me and like a lisp at me, isn't it?
the wrestler used that in a promo as well.
What about you, Anthony? What do you have?
Oh well, with me, my favourite, I do like a Chinese. So anything that's like a Chinese, and do you know what? Even though I'm a beer, well, I drink beer, but when I eat Chinese, I go into jazz mood. I like to have a red wine with my Chinese. So no, I do. So a nice bottle of wine, a nice Chinese, maybe a good film or documentary or something you can watch on the telly, and a quiet night in. Sometimes that works a treat.
Lovely. What about you, Hot Fuzz?
I'm sort of split between a good old Indian takeaway, curry, a bit of chicken tikka masala, or something like a Chinese. I do like my Chinese, crispy chili beef, Singapore noodles, egg fried rice, some of the prawn crackers, lemon chicken, a sweet and sour pork.
Not you don't have a little bit then. You just like
No, well, that's the thing. It's not just for me. It's for the whole family. So we get all sorts of dishes.
Right.
The what was it? The black bean beef, chili black bean beef.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Do love a bit of that. So nice. Quite spoiled when it comes to takeaways of Chinese.
You can't beat when you've been out on a night out and you buy a kebab. And then you're that pissed, you fall to sleep anyway, and then you wake up and it's actually stuck to the side of you.
What about you, Jess? What do you fancy?
Well, yeah, I mean, I must admit, I do like a Chinese. I had one last night, loved it. But I have to say, if I'm going to call my favourite, it has to be, without a doubt, curry. And I have lamb tikka as a starter. Love it. And then I'll have chicken vindaloo, pilau rice, mushroom bhaji, and a plain naan bread. And that'll do me, man. And as Anthony said, put a decent film on and chill out and just get fat. And
so good, mate. Well, yeah. I don't mind. I'm Indian myself. I don't mind Chinese, kebab, you name it. I'll eat it. Basically, simple as that. There's no ifs or buts with me. If it's hot and warm, fine. I'll have it all day long. So that's a good question. That one. We also got in here. How are we doing, Luke AFC? Keeping well? How are you? Yeah, well, I think we're all okay. We're all enjoying ourselves so far. Rossi's saying the sexiest 5 people on YouTube smash the likes, and then he's added in Uncle Rod's as well, making it 6.
Thank you.
There we go. DJ Crane, how are we doing, Tony? The good, the bag, the not so ugly Anthony, the wise guys, Jez and Unks, and of course, Mr. Flip You Off, the Yeti. And he's just kind of bigging up on the channels there.
Yes, Carl.
Big up to you, Bargav. Big up. This is a star panel, as always. Nice to see Malia on here as well. How we doing, Malia? And like I was saying, he pulling Jez's leg is a vibe. He never does that. Never.
Never. Nah.
Give me that idea.
Big up to the assembled, even everyone. Arsenal free weekend. This has been amazing.
Yeah.
Right. So just going over the week that's been. Start with Monday. Obviously, the big thing was the Kaiser sadly passing away.
Yeah.
I didn't realise how bad things was with him. I made a little bit of notes on him and that. I mean, obviously, he was battling dementia.
Yeah.
Multiple heart surgery and that. And he died at 78, and he was also suffering from Parkinson's disease. So bloody hell! I mean,
had a lot, didn't he? Had a lot.
he didn't muck around in that respect. I mean, what do you record of him, guys? And what do you think about the great old Franz Beckenbauer?
You know what is I mean, I'll kick it off. You don't get the name the Kaiser for nothing. Do you know what I mean? He came from an era at the end of the day where German football was just out of this world. I mean, you had people like Gerd Muller. You know what I mean? Gerd Muller was another one that day. So like when he sadly passed away, I think 2 years ago now. When he passed away, he had been sick for a long time. Do you know what I mean? You know, Franz Beckenbauer, and everything, he just literally elevated football. Do you know what I mean? Man created this like left wide back that he's played today, left wide back, right back, and that he created that.
Yeah,
he created that system like a sweeper system. He created that. Do you know what I mean? He won. He won the World Cup, as a player, and he wins the World Cup as a manager of his country. You know what I mean? He was just a phenomenal guy. Brought joy to a lot of us at the day that couldn't obviously, us older guys that grew up in the era at the day that we was fortunate at the day to see Franz Beckenbauer, like obviously from the 70s and all that sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the way he was on the ball was like he was like a magician on the ball, like a magician in the thing that he did everything. He did all the hard things simple.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the way you could put it. He did all the hard things simple. Do you know what I mean? And he was just a phenomenal player, along with the greats like, Gerd Muller and a lot of those guys there. Do you know what I mean? And he was like a Bayern Munich guy, through and through. Although he had a spell at Hamburg. Do you know what I mean? But he was Bayern Munich, Mr. Bayern Munich, really, when you think about it.
No, of course.
It's just sad. It's just sad in the way that sort of like, that you'll never get that kind of generation again.
No,
you know what I mean?
No.
That generation of footballers, you'll never get that again. Like Johan Cruyff, Pele, Beckenbauer, Maradona. You know what I mean? That generation of footballers, that will never happen again. And it's very sad.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these players now these days can learn a lot from these older guys that the way they used to play football and the way they used to handle themselves. Do you understand what I'm saying? So,
yeah, of course.
It was sad to hear. I mean, on my show on Monday, I spoke about it, and I literally had a minute silence for him on my channel. Do you know what I mean?
Nice.
In chipper to Franz Beckenbauer, because he was truly one of the greats. Truly, do you know what I mean? When you talk about Franz Beckenbauer, that spells authority in the game. So very sad, very sad.
Yeah.
Would you call him Jez? Sorry,
Sorry, go on.
Just got to go to Jez's comments first, and then I'll come to you, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I was very privileged as a young kid in the 70 World Cup in Mexico to actually watch that great West Germany team. Franz Beckenbauer, Gerd Muller, Sepp Maier, one of the greatest goalkeepers that ever played for West Germany back in the day. And I was actually very lucky to watch at Wembley to see that West Germany team play in a pre-World Cup game when England had been knocked out of qualifying by Poland. They played at Wembley, and I was very lucky to see that West German team play, and those iconic players that are in that team. And yeah, it's great sadness. The man suffered towards the end of his life with some horrible diseases that hopefully one day there will be a cure will be found. And yeah, I could just sit here and say to you, it was an honour, an absolute honour to watch that man play football.
Oh yeah,
I remember him playing against England in the 70 World Cup, and he was class, man. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Oh, wait, sorry, going back to you.
Well, I mean, I can only say one thing, really. Proper footballing legend, unlike some of these jokers that get called footballing legends nowadays. This guy did everything and, deserves a title. And the title gets thrown around so much with footballers nowadays. They score an hat-trick and the legends and all this, that and the other. and it's just bullshit. You know, Arteta, look at him. I mean, everyone calls him a legend. I mean, more leg end, really, isn't it?
Legend. What's the legend?
That's true. Anthony, what about you, mate? What do you think about the Wild France?
Yeah, it was sad news. You know, really sad news. I mean, I grew up. I don't. He wasn't a player then. He was the manager of.
Manager.
Well, Jeff touched on it. West Germany. I can remember when he was the manager of them in the 1990 World Cup. That knocked us out. That team had knocked us out on penalties. And as soon as that game finished, he got up from where he was sat and he walked over to our manager then, who was a brilliant manager, Sir Bobby Robson, which they were good friends, and they were talking to one another on the touchline, you know, and having a bit of a joke and a laugh, and that, you know, that was the way how it was then between them two. They, you know, it was two icons managing in that World Cup at that time, and yeah, he's really sad news. But the trouble is, though, with these legends, we all remember them, what they've done on the pitch and how they've managed their teams, but we don't really know what happens in their own, obviously in their personal lives and what they do out of football, sort of thing. But there is a documentary on these legends, and if you watch that documentary, you know, fantastic people, and it's like what Uncle Rod said. You ain't going to get these players. That's it. These people, you know, are you know, they're brilliant people, and compared to today, today's people don't touch on that really.
No,
you know what I mean?
That's true.
No.
And to the oldest one in the chat, in the panel, Hot Fuzz, do you recall anything about old Franz Beckenbauer?
Unfortunately, not. No, I've never really seen Franz Beckenbauer play at all. I never didn't know that he was a legend in the game and that he was significant. No, shared a football pitch with Sir Bobby Charlton.
Yep.
In, I believe it's the World Cup, and you know, they're sort of intertwined careers, cross career paths, and you know, have sadly passed away at similar stages, or I think it was very, very close by to each other. So it's you know, it's quite a sad time for a football fan, but also United fans as well. But yeah, really, really significant player throughout history, and sadly gone, but not forgotten.
No,
You know, his legacy will live on in German football throughout the rest of history.
Well, yeah. Apparently, they had a game where I think it was they played who is it now? Hoffenheim, I think it was, and they won 3-0, and they 75,000 people went to that game, and it was as a mark of respect to Beckenbauer. So that's great. You know, that just shows you what they thought of him, basically, something like that. And obviously, on the same day as well, we also lost JPR Williams. You know, the Wales, British and Irish Lions legend, 74, and another one. He apparently died from bacterial meningitis. So yeah, it's just another sad one to go from the rugby game. So yeah, it's one of those. Just going to go to the chat. I mean, obviously Dave's come back and saying hi everyone, and he's putting a question, and this will go to most, you know, obviously to the Arsenal guys and everyone else. I don't understand why we haven't signed a striker yet.
We won't.
Nah.
We won't sign a striker because at the end of the day, this is the fact we don't need one. Apparently, you know, this is what this is. This is the narrative.
Tony get here.
Oh, dear God, yeah. You know, we're not going to get Tony because he's made the statement he wants to repay Brentford for staying with him, and I respect that. Play the fella, you know. We're not going to buy a striker. Well, let me just quantify that. We might well buy some kid from Getafe, nobody's ever heard of, you know, ripping it up apparently. Yeah, really? Okay. If he's that good, why aren't Real Madrid looking at him?
True.
And we'll go and spend a shed load of 25 million on some kid. We'll buy him in. We won't see him play because he'll be put out on loan, and we'll see him in 2 years, and then we'll flog him for no money. There you go.
Yeah. Anthony, your view on that?
Yeah, I'd simply agree with Jez. I mean, sometimes with Arsenal, I mean, don't get me wrong, this is typical Arsenal. January transfer window, Arsenal really didn't do anything in this window, but obviously Arteta needs to he needs a striker. We all know that, but it's not just a striker we need. We need to upgrade on the strikers, the left back position, and also a backup for Saka. So that's three people. Well, three players in this window. I personally think Arsenal need, but at the end of the day, we don't know what's coming. I just think they're just taking the piss, Tone. You know, let's not worry about this transfer window and not bring anybody in, but we'll have a good time in Dubai. It just annoys me, and nothing.
Yeah, I was going to come up to that later on in the show.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. I won't say nothing. I won't say nothing more on that. But
that's another story altogether.
Yeah.
That one.
Rewind that bit.
I mean, from our point of view, and I mean, obviously, for the other four teams that are against you guys, it seems a strange thing that's going on at your club. We know there's a lot of disharmony at the moment, so we know from previous shows we've seen Tony's always been banded around, but for me, I can't see him going to use guys.
Nah.
I mean, obviously, Yeti, Hot Fuzz, Unks. What do you think about that? Do you think Arsenal need to get a striker, or do they think they need to be kind of strengthened elsewhere?
I mean, me personally, I would say that other than the Liverpool game in the first half, there was like creating chances, and to be fair, they could have done Liverpool by 4 goals in the first half. So you could see there where, you know, a striker would have been like the main point. But the thing is, in the other games that I've seen, there's been nothing going to the front.
No.
So there's no point getting a striker if you're not putting the ball to him.
Yes,
you know what it is? You know what it is, though? Even when you look at that game at the day where they played us, and obviously they had those chances in the first half, you could probably say that if they had a striker, you know what I mean? Those chances, like even at least 2 of those chances might have very, very well been put away. Do you know what I mean? If you had sort of like an actual striker, I can understand what Arsenal's doing in the day, because like when you look at sort of like the teams at the day in the league nowadays, not a lot of people play with strikers. It's like the wingers, you know, like a left forward or a right forward, or a 10 or something like that. Do you know what I mean? It's usually the wingers that are getting goals. Like with West Ham, you've got like Mohamed Kudus at the end of the day. He's not a striker, he's more of a winger, but he gets the goals. You know what I mean? But when you can argue, say he's not a striker, but he clocks up the numbers like a striker. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So not many teams that they do sort of like play with a striker. So I can understand Arsenal's where Arsenal's going on that. Do you know what I mean? They rather probably get like a attacking midfielder. Do you know what I mean? Or something like that, or something like in the same replica as Odegaard, something in the same replica as you know, Saka, but obviously a bit more better. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think there's so much as focused on a striker, much less than sort of like just literally getting an attacking player, somebody that can run down the wings and actually put those chances away that, you know, need to be put away. Do you know what I mean? Because like for instance, they sort of like, you know, we had in the second half of that game, you could probably say we had 2 good chances, and we put them away. Do you know what I mean? You know, so like, you know, BS1 was sort of like an own goal, but like the last one of the day was like a shot from Luis Diaz. Do you know what I mean? So we had that sort of like thing put away. Now that never came from a striker; that came from a winger. You understand what I'm saying? So I do understand where sort of like Arsenal's going with this, but the only thing I would say, is it going to work for Arsenal? Do you know what I mean? You know, is it going to work for Arsenal? And that remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. Yeah. Just want to say one thing. I don't know if you're going to sort of like go over it later down in the show, but like Sven Goran Eriksson, he's got terminal cancer.
Yeah, I was going to come on to that as well.
Yeah, so all right then.
Yeah, I'm going to come on to that one as well. Yeah. I mean, Hot Fuzz, what's your view on Arsenal's kind of situation in the transfer business?
Yeah, I sort of get both sides of the coin with this one, with it being that Liverpool performance screams that you need a striker, and I think in any case, dependent on how the team, or irrespective of how the team builds up, if Kai Havertz is starting in the number 9 position for you, you know you're doing something wrong. You know factually you're doing something wrong. So, I mean, you've got to get a classic number 9, qualified number 9 striker, rather than trying to be someone who, you know, puts the jack of all trades, master of none type player.
Yeah.
It's like a Zinchenko. Like, you don't want to rely in key positions in your team for players that are not going to be specialists for you. And I think if Ivan Toney's starting up top, I mean, he scored a Panenka penalty in another friendly behind closed doors. I think it was either today or yesterday. So he's got some composure. He's got a good. It doesn't look like he's missing that much of a beat at the moment.
No.
And I think if someone who's got a good all-round game, who's a very well-rounded striker, you stick an Ivan Toney in that team, Liverpool can forget about it. They can absolutely forget about it.
Yeah.
But
no, it's going to be interesting. We'll be interested what's going to happen with Toney.
Yeah, but I also understand Yeti's side of the argument, where it's like, well, loads of other games this season, they've not really created an awful lot. And sometimes you'd say, well, a time where you definitely know that the last piece of the puzzle is that striker position, is if it's consistently a reoccurring issue, that there's a lot of chances, but nobody really is doing the job of doing the business in front of goal.
Yeah. Well, I think the stats don't lie, do they? I mean, when you think that they said it was the last 6 games, that 61 shots, 16 on target, and 1 goal. Stats don't lie at the end of the day. That just shows you can have all that creativity, but if you can't finish it and the other team score 1 more goal than you, that's all that matters.
Yeah,
it's one of those.
Well, I mean, look at Chris Woods, right? Against Newcastle. I mean, before I was saying, this guy ain't it, we need to get rid of him and all this kind of stuff. When they was actually playing to him, look what he did.
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, I've kept this comment up here. Everton and Nottingham Forest facing further points deduction. Welcome into the chat, Jin Kazama. I mean, the main thing on that one, Jin, apparently Nottingham Forest are not going to face any points deductions at all. That's been confirmed. But Everton, there's a chance that they will be. But if you look how the team's playing, you can't fault them. I think I said earlier on, if Everton didn't have the points deduction, where would they be in the table now? And how much can you say other teams would? How would other teams fare with what Everton's got and be in the same position?
So how many more points are we talking about? Because Everton, they've just recently had 10 points taken off of them, haven't they?
Yeah.
So how many points are we talking about now? Because, I mean, is it more likely it's going to be the end of the season, or are they going to take it over till next season? Most probably do the same again if it's another 10 points.
I think the thing is, I'm not too sure the actual facts, but as always, it seems to be when they want to leak it out. They've mentioned that part, but then there's not much else kind of been gained on it. Unless I look into it, or one of you guys do. That's all that's been said. But there's no confirmed what it's going to actually be. How many points? Is it going to be this season? Is it going to be next season? Interesting times. Coming around, it's coming around at the same time that they're going to be moving into the new stadium. So that's quite an interesting view of it.
That's a good point.
Yeah, good point.
Mark Gav's asking, we well asked this question. What do you make of De Bruyne's performance as fans?
It was good today.
Phew.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Comes on, changes the game.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Just does what a world-class player does.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Comes on, bangs a goal. And how long was he on the pitch?
20 minutes.
If that.
20 minutes, goal and assist.
Game changer, man.
Yeah.
Guy's class. If he stays back on fitness, dear God, I mean, when I watched that game, it was unlucky to Newcastle. Fair play. I thought they might get a result there. But, if Haaland comes back anytime soon, anybody else, forget winning the Premier League. No, they'll walk it again. You know,
Exactly.
and you can't make it up, man. You have to admire a team like that. I mean, back in the day when Arsenal had a great team, you know, there was fans that would say you have to admire them. They're a brilliant team, and you have to sit back, you have to sit here. Much as it pains me to say their quality, they've got a quality. Probably without a doubt the best manager in the world at this point in time. Right, he's a master tactician. He can get his team up, and he's got a great, fantastic squad. I've got to help us when Haaland comes back.
That's the thing.
He's still got a thing, though. I think, with all the greatness of what they've got, he's still got to fight. Just got to fight until the end. Do you know what I mean? Don't
of
give
course.
up.
I mean, you know, you're in with a shout, Rod, didn't you, with Liverpool? I mean, they're there and thereabouts, but not being funny. If you look at when that game finished yesterday and how the team celebrated, that just shows you how much it meant to him.
Yeah.
And I think that was more aimed at probably De Bruyne to see him come back and you know how he turned that game on its head.
To be honest,
that's what you want from a player coming back.
Yeah. To be honest, at the day, sort of like they is a good victory what they got yesterday, and they've got a great team. But what you got to do in the day, we're at the top. I'm not saying that we're going to win the league in the day, right? But what is it? We're going to damn well fight in the day until the last breath in our body in the day, right? And the last game of the season, last minute of the season, we're going to fight until the end. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So yes, at the end of the day, sort of like, I think in some, don't get me wrong, De Bruyne is a good player, but I watched some of the game yesterday, and what Newcastle tend to have done yesterday was kind of played into sort of like Man City's hand.
Yeah, they did.
Played into the hands, because what they did, and they literally sat back and they gave De Bruyne in the day all the space in the day that he needed. And when you got a player like De Bruyne on the pitch, you cannot, I repeat, cannot give him any space. You have to stick to him like crazy glue. Do you know what I mean? If it means that they give him away like a yellow card, so be it. You have to stick to him. But what I looked at the game for the night yesterday, and with De Bruyne come on, in the first couple of minutes of De Bruyne coming on, I thought, this guy's just got a world of space. What they're doing, you know what I mean? They're all sat back. They let sort of like Man City play in front of them. So that was, to me, at the end of the day, that was going to be the end result at the end of the day. That sort of like they was going to get sort of like these goals at the end to win it. Because even before De Bruyne come on, the writing was on the wall. The writing was on the wall because they were sitting deeper and deeper and deeper, thus giving these players at the end of the day, like a De Bruyne, and if Haaland was playing yesterday, Haaland would have had a field day with a space at the day that he would have been given. He would have had a field day. You know what I mean? The writing was on the wall. So obviously at the day, De Bruyne at the day, don't get wrong, I'm not taking nothing from him. He's a brilliant player. He's an amazing player. But when you get on a pitch and that, right, and you'll be given that amount of space and that, right, if you don't perform, well, there's something wrong with you. Do you know what I mean? You know,
exactly.
So you just got Man City, and we know at the day, Man City is a great team, and Pep at the day sort of like is a great manager. But with this situation in there, you have this includes Arsenal as well. Yeah. You have to fight until you got the last breath in your body, the last kick in your body, all right. And until it's mathematically at the end of the day out of your reach, well then fair enough. But like Arsenal still in a chance, because what's Arsenal 40 points? They're on 40 points.
40 points.
Yeah. So Arsenal still in a chance. Aston Villa still in a chance. You know what I mean? So put it this way, it can go to either one of us.
It's a good season so far. It's a tight, at the top it's tight. It's very tight, which is great. It's good to see it. I think it's what you want to see. So I think we wanted this for quite a few seasons now, rather than it being a runaway for two teams. It's this one's. It's a guess for who could actually nick it. Basically, I mean, just going to go with some comments here. Coach Jordash, what he said back up here was, no signings, boring January. Can we just give some youth players a chance? I'm resigned to the fact that we're not going to sign anyone. which is a fair comment. I mean, that's quite good. And this is a very interesting one. Benzema missed training, unhappy in Saudi, buying for 2 years. I think anyone would at this stage definitely take him up on that offer.
Oh, fuck me, yeah.
Yeah, I would do Arsenal, definitely.
Yeah.
Just going to introduce one more person into the panel. Big up to the big Newcastle fan himself. How are we doing, John?
Hang on, matey.
John.
Big up to everyone in the chat, guys, and big up to you in the room. How are we doing? You good?
We're all good,
Yeah,
mate. We're all good.
Yeah, good, John.
Hearing you.
Good. Also see Jess in the room as well. A legend as well. Loving the bits, man.
So I understand, John, you've been busy in the last couple of hours, or for the last 19 hours, should I say?
I have, mate. I have. It's just absolutely busy at the minute. I mean, it's mad, really. I mean, I went to the match on yesterday and see us lose 3-2, and I felt we could have done better. I mean, first half, I thought 2 cracking goals and that sort of thing, and Isak should have got the third one, and the keeper saved it.
Yeah.
I think there could be 2 ton points in that game. The first one, Isak missed that chance, and also Bruno had a shot which went under his foot as well, and he just couldn't connect it. But Kevin De Bruyne changed the game totally. I mean, he put down the ball for the halfway line, yeah? Where was the midfield? Where was the midfield?
Exactly.
Where's Mark? Who was marking him? I mean, we're just all over the place. This is why we need a CDM. We need a CDM. Badly, need a 6. Joe Linton, yes, he's a miss. Yeah, we know that. I can understand that. But
Tonali.
Tonali as well is a miss as well.
Big
Tonali's a miss. Oh, it's a huge miss. He's a huge miss.
Quality
But
player.
it's clear. It's clear now that we need a CDM. Even on loan. Calvin Phillips, go and get him in. Go and get him in. He's a 6. Get him in. And De Bruyne changed the whole thing in 20 minutes yesterday. And you got a world-class player like Kevin De Bruyne. Who have we got? No one. Absolutely no one. It's a joke. But at the end of the day, there's no disgrace getting beat off Man City. No disgrace. However, it could have been. It's what might have been. But Man City's going to win the title this season, right? Let's get that out of the way, yeah? They're going to win the league. Let's be real, yeah? Whether De Bruyne's fit or not. Now, someone else got to say as well, and I think you guys agree, we're a million miles away from Liverpool and Man City. A million miles away from them, yeah? And FFP, I don't know if you touched on it, FFP has killed us, absolutely killed us. We cannot sign anyone. We have to sell either Isak, Bruno, or Botman, yeah? And now, the FA got us just like that.
Yep.
Tells us everything I need to know. They look after the big 6, the big clubs. No disrespectful, yeah? They do not want competition. They do not want competition from us, or Villa, or Brighton, or West Ham. You know what I mean? I mean, the Premier League, best league in the world, the Premier League, the world's best league. Yeah, all right. Whatever.
Of course. Well, before I'm going to put this question up, I mean, if you look at that game yesterday, it's definitely going to be contender of goal of the month. But who do you pick? That's going to be the question. There's all bloody worldies, weren't they, at the end of the day?
Yeah.
That's going to be a hard one for the panel. But Ravi's coming in. Welcome, Ravi, Big Harry. Question, do you think FFP will get scrapped?
It has to. I don't think it will now. I don't think it will.
I don't think it will.
It should.
It's not VAR. It's here to stay.
Yeah.
What I don't understand, and I chatted to the Yeti earlier on about this. I'm no expert on FFP. I don't really understand the technicalities of what it's all about. Yeah, it's. I don't understand how Newcastle can be under FFP with what they've spent compared to what Arsenal has spent.
Yeah.
How does it work? Arsenal has spent shed loads more.
Yeah. It goes on. I think it goes on. Obviously, the money you buy on players, and also the players' wages as well. You know, you've got to put all that into consideration as well. So, this is what I mean by the financial fair play. I mean, you've got the top teams like Man City spending hundreds of £1 million on players, but with them, comes a wage, and it could be something like 3 players' wages joined into that one particular signing that they've made. So is that sort of thing, and it's to level the books, and also is to do with players as well, having a couple of reserve players. It's like a 25-man team. You're supposed to have obviously so many players with so many youth in there as well. That's what it is, Jez. It's just to balance the books in your football team.
And it was,
Our wages on players,
Yeah,
are far higher than Newcastle.
exactly.
Don't even get started.
ain't
Don't even get
money
started.
bringing in as
on
well.
that.
Ain't it about money brought into the club as well?
So how does that balance? We spent £65 million on Havertz. We're spending 250 grand a week on his wages.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah. I get. I mean, all right. We don't have a lot of young kids in our squad, but whose fault is that? I'm going to have to look into this in depth because I don't know enough about this, and I'm not qualified to talk about it. But it just doesn't make sense to me how this happens. It really doesn't.
No, I think in itself, Jez, I think that one.
yeah. But all in total, we spent 208 million this season. You've got to think of it. There's 105 on Declan Rice, 65 million on Kai Havertz, 35 million on Timber, and then you got the £3 million loan deal with Bray on top of that. You add that up all together. Do you know what I mean? So that's 205 million roughly. So that's the most that Arsenal's ever spent in just one window.
Yeah,
I'm sure as well. At the end of the day, it's about the revenue you're bringing into the club as well. That counts as well.
It has something to do with that as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's what I said. You've got to try and balance something out within your team.
Yeah. So really and truly, you can bring it. You can spend like 200 or even 300 million on. So you spent 300 million on players, yeah, right? But if you're bringing in revenue at the end of the day, that balances that. So like up to let's say like 100 million. You know what I mean? And or something like that. It balances it. You know what I mean? Along with the wages and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like advertising, TV rights, you know what I mean? And all this sort of stuff that come with it. You know what I mean? You keep below the sort of like the belt of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of like contributing factors at the end of the day with FFP. And a lot of it seems to be adding on all the time. Do you know what I mean? They add this on, add that on. Do you know what I mean? Which is, ridiculous. But there's a lot of contributing factors, you know what I mean? Like players' wages, how much you spend on the player, how much revenue is coming to the club. Because if you're spending, for instance, at the day, sort of like, X amount of money on players at the day, but then you hardly got revenue coming to the club, we're gonna think, well, look, there's something dodgy going on here.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So you have to be, as Anthony said, you know what I mean? You have to be able to balance the books. You know what I mean?
I mean, what was your view on that, Fuzz? I think you was going to claim something.
Well, I was just about to say, if I speak about United's wages, they speak in big trouble.
Yes, that's very true.
Honestly.
True. I mean, here's one for you, John. Basically, it's asking, do you think Eddie Howe's job is in question?
Nah, I don't think it is, to be fair. Thing is, right, he's got credits in the bank, in my opinion. I know I've seen social media come out and say that he should be under pressure, set the way he's treated at Bournemouth, starts well, and then he just drops off a bit. For me, I honestly think he'll be here next season, I'm sure. I mean, injuries hasn't helped us whatsoever. That's not his fault.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, right, I mean, I think the only criticism about Eddie Howe, I think, in my opinion, he needs to stop playing his favourites. That's the only criticism of him, because if he does that, then they're going to go on him as well. But what I expect next season, the out-of-contract players to be on their way and start giving one-year contracts to players like Paul Dummett. I like him, but I wouldn't give him a year contract. I think he needs to be moved on now. Do you know what I mean? Don't give out contracts and not playing games. I'd rather give it the Deadwood rather than players like Bruno G and Botman and Isak. But for me, Eddie Howe's got credits in the bank. He'll be here next season. No question. If he gets sacked, then that'll down to the owner's decision. Do you know what I mean? They must have someone in place for him. But I think, personally, he'd be here.
Yeah, I think so.
He'd be here.
I mean, Big up to AFC always. Good comment here. Top Gooners fans
Big up.
still trying to laugh at Postecoglou, but now he's tied on points with Arteta in his first ever season while battling with injury crisis. Arteta would have Arsenal somewhere in the 15th. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah.
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 Possibly there.
Can't think of missing that.
Going back, can I very quickly, Tone, can I go back? This FFP thing
Yeah.
Right. could be a good thing for Arsenal. Because I would not give that manager a single he's proven he's useless
Stop that.
buying authority. So if Arsenal are under or going to be called on the FFP thing, I don't think they will. Good. Because I wouldn't give that bloke a brass bloody farthing.
Are we doing to Arsenal next?
Jez, he should have been sacked last season. He should have been sacked last season. 8 points clear, right? 2 up against Liverpool, right? Messed it up. 2 up against West Ham, messed it up. Couldn't be Southampton at home, right?
Yep.
Then he doesn't treat the young players right. Do you know what I mean? He's not improved them at all whatsoever. Do you know what I mean? He needs to be sacked at the end of this season. Because if he's not going to ever win you a title. And Arsenal fans deserve to win a title. Do you know what I mean? Go out, all out, in my opinion. I think you might have mentioned it. Go out and get Diego Simeone.
Yep.
Do you know what, John? Go on. I do agree with John on that. I agree with John on that. But trouble is, though, I think he's got so much backing by Edu and the Cronkies. Do you know what? He's still going to be here at the end of this season. He's going to be here next season. You might as well say, with Arsenal Football Club, he's going to spend his first £1 billion. He is. And he'll still be in a job if we still don't win anything. And I do agree. I mean, Jez knows my opinion on Arteta. I would love him. I'd love him to go within the next hour or within the next 10 minutes. Leave you with me, I would. But it's not going to happen. And it's like what I said, you've got so much backing and all this trusted process. I think what they're trying to do now is trying to build, get all these young players in for the future. But we did that under Arsene Wenger. And guess what? It didn't work because we almost went 10 years without a trophy doing that. We need a manager in now. We want trophies now. We don't want being promised trophies in 5-10 years' time. We want to see the results now. Because I'll tell you something now. It's been, what is it now, Jez? Is it 18 years?
20
last
years.
time we won the Premier League?
20.
18, 20 years last time we've won a Premier League. So there you go. So, and being an Arsenal fan, and from how long Jez has been an Arsenal fan, it's too long. It's too long for me. I've been a fan since 84, 85. You know, that's too long. I mean, my best Arsenal days were under George Graham. Facts. You know?
Let's put it this way, right? I mean, if Arsene Wenger was manager of Arsenal and his 8 points clear, I guarantee you one thing: Wenger would not squander 8 points clear. He would not allow it.
Yeah, no, it's true.
He wouldn't allow it.
No, it's
No
good.
way.
It's
George
good
Graham
comment.
wouldn't allow
Yeah, but
it.
my argument is why did they get rid of the other guy, Unai Emery? Why did they get rid of him?
Facts.
I think you should have kept him.
He would have won the league last season. He would have won us the league last season. Facts, you know him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
100%.
For sure.
Yeah.
I've got no doubt about that. He would have won you the league. Do you know
Can't-
what I mean?
can't- There's something I want to say about that. If we cast our minds back in time, right, when we got rid of George Graham, we had some caretakers come in. Bruce Rioch, right? He didn't last long, although he brought in one of the greatest iconic goal players for Arsenal in Dennis Bergkamp. We had Stuart Houston as a caretaker. Arsenal were waiting. David Deans and Peter Hillwood had already lined up Arsene Wenger, but Arsene Wenger was contracted, right, to the team he was managing out in Japan.
Ramble Steve.
Yep. And the fact I honestly believe, and I think this is fact. When we brought in Unai Emery, the clowns that we've got in this management right, really wanted to get Arteta. They couldn't get Arteta at the time, so they gave the club Man City the time and the license, for him to move at a point when they were waiting. They were waiting for Emery to cock up. And that was then they cut his throat. Bearing in mind, the guy got Arsenal to the Europa Cup final. It wasn't his fault. It was the fucking rubbish team we had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Up, and we got piped 3-1 by Chelsea. And Chelsea weren't a great team then. Let's get it right. Yeah. They had already lined up Arteta and were just waiting their opportunity to get him in. And that is why they stick with him every single time. Their belief in the investment in him, right, the Cronkies and the management, I don't know why. They must be bloody blind for whatever reason they're watching. They're not watching the game that I watch. But I honestly believe that's the case. Unai Emery was a scapegoat.
Yeah. Sounds like it. Sounds like it. What do you think about that, John? John Si's asking you, do you think Newcastle are punching above their weight? Your squad isn't that great, all pretty average over the last 5 years. Is that a fair comment?
It has improved players, and like Joe Linton, Shaw Longstaff, Miguel Mir on last season, and then Miggy's gone back to the old Miggy. I still think there's players in the squad that needs to be shifted on. Let's be honest, but Eddie's done an amazing job last season. An amazing job. I mean, players like Bruno, Botman, and Isa made a difference. Wilson's got 18 goals last season. However, this season, like I said earlier, it's injuries. And I think some players need to be shifted on. But yes, he punched way above our weight last season. I didn't expect Champions League football at all. But I think the reason is we haven't got squad depth. That is the thing. And if you look at the subs bench, yesterday, we only made one sub yesterday. Lewis Hall came on for Anthony Gordon. That tells you need to know. 2-3 goalkeepers on the bench. Yeah, there's no game changers in there. You know what I mean? But this is why we have got to get the players come back in, like Harvey Barnes, Willock, Murphy, Joe Linton. That's 4 key players out right there.
Massive losses.
It is massive. And Tonali, of course. But like I said, in the summer, it needs to be addressed. And the medical side, in my opinion, they need to be looked at as well, because we don't know what's going on there. Is it our training? Is Eddie pushing them too hard? Or is it the medical side ain't good enough?
Should be interesting. Yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, funny enough, you're saying about, Longstaff, obviously we go to Hot Fuzz and that, they've got their own version of that in Scott McTominay.
Super
The Milky Bar kids. Let's go. Milky Bar kid with them round smokes. I swear, this guy needs to disappear back to the lands of Braveheart and can go back to fighting dragons somewhere in the Highlands. I don't want to see him putting on a Manchester United shirt any longer. I mean, you sub him on today, right, with this hope that he's going to get you a goal. I hope he scores. This is levels. There's levels to this game. We're subbing on Scott McTominay to find a game changer. And City down the road, they sub on Kevin De Bruyne to find a game changer. There are levels to this. Levels to this. They think they're them, but they are not them. They are not quite them. Mate, as far as shifting on Deadwood, there's so many people, there's so many players. I mean, and the frustrating thing is that without players, they can switch it on when they want to, but that's just it. They don't want to. That's a serial problem that is festered itself all over Manchester United Football Club. Players that try when they want to, but then every other time they just don't want to pull their weight, and it happens under every different manager that we have. So it's like, when is this board going to put? When are the board going to put that first on the agenda? Get the people who don't try for this club out, and bring players in that do try. Like quality, Manchester United, we can attract quality. We want to be doing well before we can attract young potential ambition, where a player wants to think, well, which club would I rather go and make my
You
career at?
attracted Weghorst.
That's like a horse waiting to be put out of its misery after breaking its leg. But yeah, there's just a huge amount of players that have got to be shifted on. I mean, Marcus Rashford today, I think a goal masked pretty much everything else that he did in that game. I mean, really lucky we are that he decided for his goal that he decided, you know what, I'm going to pass it off to my striker and he's going to feed it back to me in a 1-2 passage of play to create a better chance because he was ready to shoot. He decided otherwise. And the thing is he's got no football intelligence, that kid. No footballing intelligence.
What I saw of him today, though, Fuzzy, was the fact that he just didn't look interested. It's like he don't want to be there.
He didn't want to track back at all. He left his fullback completely exposed every time defensively. And that's the thing, is most fullbacks nowadays, they always track back to give a little bit of defensive coverage, but to also help give you an extra channel of transitional play or a counter-attack out of that channel. So you've got someone who's just parked on the halfway line, not really getting involved at all. I mean, you beg for the you beg for the opposition to cross into the box if you're doing that, and that's the one thing that we really struggled with today. Set pieces and crosses, we just don't know what the hell we're doing. The ball comes in on a cross, everyone stops and go, "Oh my god, the cross is coming in. What do we do? What do we do?"
Yeah.
So back post gets left unmarked. Goalkeeper is absolutely petrified of coming off of his line. He's scared of boxes, right? I can't remember the phobia name, but there's something for like cardboard boxes, fear of cardboard boxes. But he's scared of boxes. But you know what? If he's got acrophobia, then yeah, he's probably scared of jumping up to claim stuff as well. He's scared of getting. He's scared of heights. Doesn't want to jump up. He'll go too far off the ground. But the cutback as well. 3 runners into the box. There's no Maddison. There's no Kulusevski.
Yeah.
It was Bentancur from deep, just making a simple run. And Timo Werner doesn't have to do a specialist cross. He doesn't need an Udogie special cross. Don't need a wonder hit from Brennan Johnson or Pedro Porro. Just a simple cutback pass. As simple as that.
McTominay should have won that game for you at the end. And I'll be honest with you, if I'd have started this YouTube thing as a Manchester United fan, I'd probably have had an heart attack by now.
Well, that's the thing. This is it's just such a massive problem for United fans because it's like we're so used to shit. We're so used to it that Scott McTominay could put in a 0 out of 10 performance. But as long as he arrives late in the box and puts the ball in the back of the net, he's good enough for Manchester United. Swivel on it, on your plans of grandeur, where Scott McTominay's showing armpits and lifting Champions League and Premier League. It's just a wild fantasy. It's not going to happen. He ain't good enough. Get rid.
No, exactly. Do you Uncle Rod's here? You've got Coach Jordash is saying to Liverpool fans, is Curtis Jones any good? Gunner's apparently a link to him. Any rumour in that? Any truth in that?
Number one, he's not going to. I'm not going to Arsenal. He's Liverpool through and through, and he's vastly improved. I've always been I've always liked Curtis Jones because I think even when he came into the team and he scored that goal against Everton in the FA Cup, I mean, ever since then, he's always shown and they sort of like 100% commitment. You know what I'm saying? He might not have a good game, but he's shown 100% commitment. Do you know what I mean? And now what's happening now at the end of the day, the fruits of that labour at the end of the day, right, is showing now. Do you know what I mean? When it goes back to sort of like, when you go back to like speaking about Arsenal and the way Arsenal needs to deal with the use using that, right? Arsene Wenger was very kind of like good at that, bringing the youth up from the academy, do you know what I mean? Giving them a chance and this and that, do you know what I mean? And what it's about in the day, it's about kind of like installing that mentality in these youth players. Say, look, you know, you can do it. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to do it and stuff. You know what I mean? That's why we got a couple of good youth coming through. Do you know what I mean? The likes of, you know, yeah, Curtis Jones. That's arguably one of the better ones that's come through. Do you know what I mean? Curtis Jones has come from the academy. We got young Conor Randall coming through. We got we also got Bobby Clark as well, which is his old man's Lee Clark. He used to play for Newcastle. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's about installing that kind of right belief in the players. Do you know what I mean? That you're bringing through, and also the players that you're buying, and everything that in order for you to have this team at the day with the right mentality. What Klopp has done in there, he's got the under 23s. They train with the first team now. Do you know what I mean? So the transition and then from the under 23s to the sort of like first 11, it's not that big. They can literally get it like that because they see how they play and they actually play with them, so they get it like that. Do you know what I mean?
Like the first team, isn't it? Simple as.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to have a manager at the day. To me, at the day, you have to have a manager at the day that's got the right mentality for your club. You know what I mean? Got the right mentality to the club. And at the moment, I don't really see that in Arteta. I mean, he's going about it the right kind of way as such. You know what I mean? But he hasn't got the right mentality at the day to steer Arsenal to a great club of what they should be. Because you think about it in there, right? Yeah. And much as we banter Arsenal still, as I'll say it now and I've said it before, Arsenal still is a great team. It's a massive club. And when you look, if I sort of put myself as a neutral, yeah, I feel that Arsenal deserve better. They deserve better. And
Arsenal fans definitely deserve better.
No, they do.
Arsenal fans definitely deserve better for a club like they are.
Listen, they've had the great players at the day. Champagne Charlie. Come on, Champagne Charlie. He was a great player. You know what I mean? You know, Kevin Campbell, Ian Wright, Burkham. You know what I mean? Lundberg, Perez. These players at the day were great. What's the one? Petit that went to Chelsea.
Yep.
Yeah. These players at the day were great players. And when you look at Arsenal now, yeah, they're kind of somewhere in a way like they're a mirror of what they used to be. And that, if being a neutral, I don't think that's good enough. That is not good enough. You know what I mean? It's not good enough to what Arsenal should be. Do you understand what I'm saying?
For me, young, because I mean, I know when like the Champions League, I think I said this before, and that, you know, when you look at Arteta when he's in, you know, like their final game, he didn't field any youth players, you know, any academy players. Klopp did. He wasn't afraid to do that. Both teams are qualified, so let's see what the kids can do. We've done our part. Let's see what the kids can do.
Yeah,
Klopp's not afraid to do that, and I think that's different. And that's where, not being funny, you look at Carl Rossi's comment here. Can we only sign refuse players from Premier League clubs? Cucurella and Jones. Fuck the fuck off and stop doing the contenders favours. Sick of it. You know, not being funny. From my point of view as a West Ham fan, we've stopped being the retirement home. Arsenal now has taken over from us.
It's not good enough. Not Arsenal. Not a great institute like Arsenal. It's not good enough. Do you know what I mean? And the fact is, in there, you've got to be able to take risk when you need to take the risk. Do you know what I mean? And you have to install the right mentality into these players. I mean, when Klopp come in, one of the first things he said, turning doubters into believers. And then, sort of like 2 years into his job, they said at the day to you, "Oh, you've improved this player, you've improved that player," and that. He goes, "Well, listen, I cannot improve what they ain't got already. These players have got it in already, and that it's just up to me to make them to show it." Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, of course.
I just think at the day, sort of like, you know, it's this season at the day for Arteta is make or break. If he doesn't come out with anything, I'm talking about anything remotely of any importance at the day, right? I'm sorry, he's got to go. Yeah, he has to go because he cannot go for another season like that again. You know what I mean? You know, it would just get ridiculous. It'd just be like us, what we was doing, and they going from manager to manager to manager. Do you know what I mean? and you get no cohesion. You know what I mean, right? And the players, they don't know whether they're coming or going. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, when you look at it, the Chelsea players here, Willian, David Luiz, and Havertz, he certainly said it. I mean, obviously, when you look at it, obviously Chelsea played Middlesbrough in the Carabao semi-final in the first leg, and obviously Middlesbrough come out on top, 1-0. And that just shows you can have all them players. If you think we're talking about Arsenal, Liverpool, Forest, Man United, Newcastle, West Ham, but when you look at Chelsea, the amount of players that they've signed, and they're not even up there, really, are they?
No. The fact is, the demise of Arsenal Football Club, it's a disgrace.
Yeah, it's the best way to put it, Jess. Yeah, it is the best way to put it, actually. The demise of your club.
It is, and the fact is, you can't blame anyone else but the backing of the board members. The management is an absolute shit show, and you can't blame the fans. The fans can only go with what they're served up. The one problem you can have with fans is that they will support mediocrity and the losing mentality until the fans turn, which they did against Wenger. That's when Wenger went, because he wasn't sacked. It was basically the pressure was put on him by the owners to say, look, we're losing fans in the stadium, therefore we are losing money. And that's all these American owners, Kroenke and that lot, care about.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah,
that's all it is. Arsenal are a brand. They're not a football club. They're a brand, something that is sold all around the world. Hence, they go on these American tours every season. And that brings in millions upon millions and millions of pounds. Kroenke's football club, right? That is never, ever going to change at this point in time. No. The only time that will ever change, if somebody comes in, right, from abroad, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, like has happened at Newcastle, right, and says, right, we'll pay the whatever billions of pounds it's going to cost to buy you out. But would they even do it then? Because to me, I have to sit here with horror. Yeah. To me, it's just a game to them. It's a game.
Yeah.
All the time they're reaping in millions and millions and millions. Now, the one credit I will give to the Kroenkes, they've given Arteta and Edu the money they've wanted. The fact that Arteta and Edu have bought rubbish, they've bought pretty much every player has been crap, right? Apart from a couple of free players, you have to give them credit for it, because they're opening up the checkbook and they're saying, yeah, okay, if you want 200 million, there's the 200 million. Go and do what you got to do, right? Because they don't get it. The Kroenkes don't get it. All the time they're reaping in 300, 400, 500, 600 million pounds a year. They're happy. The books are looking good. Yeah, they paid the stadium loan off. Big up to you for doing that. Nice one. Took the pressure off. Yeah, they're very shrewd businessmen. Yeah. They borrowed hundreds of millions of pounds during lockdown rather than pay it out of the Arsenal books, because it was interest free.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah,
brilliant bit of financial play. Any shrewd businessman would have done the same. Then they pay it back interest free, because the money was there anyway. The money was in the bank, but they just played the game. And that's you've got to say that's bloody shrewd. The problem is the fact they are playing a game with the club, and they're breaking the hearts of so many Arsenal fans that don't believe in this philosophy. Yeah. The problem is it was summed up so well on so many channels recently.
Yeah.
On Arsenal channels, that this is never, ever going to achieve greatness at Arsenal Football Club, because all we're going to do is gently row down the stream. Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
nice.
Just
It's
say
all
something
nice.
to you, Jazz.
It's all happy. It's all lovely. Look, oh, lovely. Look. Oh, look at the swans and look at the trees and oh, it's beautiful. You know, it's happy, happy, happy Arsenal. That's bollocks. I don't want to see a happy, happy, happy Arsenal. I want to see players fighting.
Big difference.
Yes.
What are you gonna-
When your fans turn, I hope they all throw light bulbs at Arteta.
I hope they throw potatoes on the pitch as well.
Yeah, potatoes.
Like the Arsenal, like.
I mean, what's quite interesting when you look at the panel we've got here today, and that you think we've got 3 clubs here that's all kind of won it on a regular basis and also demised. You've got Liverpool, you've got Man United, and obviously you've got Arsenal. You know, so it's quite interesting. All 3 of these clubs have been through that same kind of mill. Whereas if you look at the likes of Hammers and Newcastle, we've been up and down, and obviously it's good to see Forest finally in the Premier League after that hiatus they've had for all those years. So you look at us 3, me, John, and Yeti, we're just used to it. Whereas you guys, you've had that winning formula. Exactly that. Yeah, why are you complaining? So just going on. I mean, just Goat Father, welcome into the actual chat. He's obviously Klopp versus Pep with the same 11 players. Who wins?
Klopp.
Pep. Oh,
Klopp.
at the minute, if it's at Anfield, I think it'd be just Klopp, because he knows how to win big games. For me, if it's at the Etihad,
it could be Finger, because I think what it is at the.
That's a good question, man.
At the Etihad, we drew at the Etihad, didn't we? We drew at the Etihad.
did.
Just one last go, but I'm not saying that Dave Pep sort of like is not a good manager, because he's a great manager. Don't get me wrong, he's a great manager. But like when I think of Klopp and then that he can get a tune out of sort of like players at the day that are not exactly household names, and he can get a tune out of them, and they can become sort of like world class players in the day. Do you know what I mean? I do sort of kind of that sort of way give the edge to Klopp. You know what I mean? He's not a big edge, just a little edge to Klopp. Do you know what I mean? But if it's at Anfield, I think we take it all the time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That seems to be their kryptonite, Anfield, really, to be honest.
Can I sorry to interrupt. Can I just say something? I meant to say, and I didn't finish what I was quite going to say. My fault.
What's that?
You're a bit of dementia, Jazz.
Arsenal, yeah. Well, you support Arsenal, mate. Yeah. We go to the USA every season for the last 3 years. Yeah, tour. Yeah. One of our biggest shirt sponsors, right, is Visit Rwanda.
Yeah.
Why don't Arsenal, come the summer, go and do a tour of Rwanda? Why? Because they won't get the money.
Yeah.
When they go to America, they're selling out 100,000 seat stadiums. Yeah. The Cronkies own the one where they played the last game of the season at. Yeah. Shit pitch, because the game was delayed because they had to amend the pitch because it's a pitch for American football, a different turf.
Yeah.
It wasn't, up to the standard. Yeah. Why don't Arsenal this summer go out to Rwanda and do a 2-week tour? Because they're the big sponsor on the left-hand side of the shirt, and it's all round stadium. Visit Rwanda. We'll go out there.
Yeah.
Go and see the fans that are buying your shirts. They're buying your merchandise. They're doing this. They're watching. They're joining up to Arsenal fan channel. The actual Arsenal club channel. They're paying money for that. So go and give them some love. Don't go out to America. Go out to Rwanda. And let's see how far that goes. That is a sort of bullshit of Arsenal Football Club.
Interesting.
Interesting.
They've got the Invincibles on the shirt, but they ain't playing like them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a wind-up, man.
They're true, though, isn't it? So, I mean, obviously, looking at
Yeah, but
Wednesday,
it's true though. With the Invincibles, it's definitely true. We seem to go back. Do you know what I mean? We seem to be going back instead of today. The Invincibles. Let's bring it up. Let's signpost this, that, and the other. Yeah, we remember that, and yeah, it was good days. But it's gone now. We want today, as Arsenal fans. We want today, and next
course.
season, and the next season after that. There's no point living on the past where you used to get all your merits, all your trophies and medals and stuff like that. That's been and gone. We still want it now.
Yeah, of course. And we'll come on to that. I mean, obviously, Wednesday Carabao Cup, there was Liverpool versus Fulham, and Liverpool came back late doors and to nick it 2-1. How did you feel about that one, Rods?
Good game. I mean, it was a good game. I mean, like Fulham. You know what I liked about Fulham is that they made a fight of it. Do you know what I mean? You know, they didn't just start like say, look, you know what, we're at Anfield. You know, we ain't gonna get nothing. No, they thought totally different. Said, look, we're going for this. We are going for this. You know what I mean? And they played well. And they, you know what I mean? So I take my hat off to sort of Fulham because they gave us a fight. Do you know what I mean? That made it all the more better when we come back and also beat them 2-1.
Yeah.
I think what it was at the day, it was like the fact at the day of how Klopp changed up the team tactically. You know what I mean? You know, by bringing on two players, he said, right, Cody Gakpo, you go into midfield, yeah, and Darwin Núñez, you go on the left. Do you know what I mean? And so you had the runs from deep, do you know what I mean? And plus you had the skill on the left of Darwin Núñez. Because I actually feel at the day Darwin Núñez is better on the left. Play him on the left-hand side, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, agree on
Don't
that.
play him through the middle, play him left-hand side. And plus you had sort of like Jota up top as well. That was kind of like pulling away defenders, do you know what I mean? And making that space, do you know what I mean? So, you know, your wingers could run into and stuff. So, you know, I think the way they executed that game was very good. Do you know what I mean? I was a bit nervous, you know what I mean? Because, you know, when they scored and, you know, and they held on to that 1-0 for quite a while. So I was a bit nervous, but, you know, it just goes to show anything that, right? Yeah. If you take if you take these competitions and they seriously, yeah, no matter who you are, you're in with a chance. Do you know what I mean? And there's so many clubs that they want to prioritize at the end of the day on the Premier League, on the league, because the league's probably going to bring in more money, whether it's from sponsorships or whether it's from the TV. Do you know what I mean? And they tend to sort of like these competitions here, like, you know, your League Cup and sort of early rounds of the FA Cup, they tend to put out a weakened team. Do you know what I mean? Because they're saving their players for the league. Do you know what I mean? But it was good to see it in the day that Fulham put out a full strength squad and had a go. They literally had a go in that.
Yeah.
So I respect them. But you know, it was a good game. I'm looking forward to you know, the second leg and looking forward to hopefully a day out at Wembley. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, good.
When you're watching Liverpool, it always seems like it's a matter of time. You know what I mean? Before you actually click and get it sorted. Like with the game against Arsenal in the FA Cup. I mean, I keep giving them all shit about they're the only club in the Premier League that's not in the FA Cup. Now we'll probably go and get knocked out by Blackpool, and then it'd be me getting cooked left, right, and centre. But you know what I mean? With Liverpool, for me, it's always just a matter of time.
I mean, obviously, the same thing on Wednesday. We had the sad news of Sven Goran Eriksson and saying that he's now got terminal cancer. And you won't wish it upon anyone on that. I mean, obviously, I come to you, Unks, on this one because apparently your fans are trying to. His dying wish or part of his bucket list was to manage your club. What's your view on that?
Yeah, it's like his father, which is he's still alive. His father's still alive. His father is a massive Liverpool fan. Do you know what I mean? And so is he. You know what I mean? You know, he said like when he got into management, he got a tour of Anfield with Joe Fagan. Joe Fagan gave him a tour of Anfield, gave him a tour of the boot room and stuff, and obviously, gave him some advice and on management. And he said, like, that's a day and a day he's held close to his heart. He's never forgotten that. Do you know what I mean? And he said, like, he always wanted to manage, and then they sort of like Liverpool Football Club. He always wanted to manage it. That was one of his ambitions, to manage Liverpool Football Club. However, he didn't get to do that. You know what I mean? He had success in Serie A with a number of teams, and he coached the England team. You know what I mean? And he didn't want to say then at the day that he's a massive Liverpool fan, because he didn't think it would be appropriate to say. Do you know what I mean? So he kept it quiet. But he's always been a massive Liverpool fan from when he was a kid right up to now. He's a Liverpool fan. So that's why Robbie Fowler is trying to get him to manage a Legends game. Manage a Legend game in, I think in March. Is it in March or May? One of them times anyway. So he's trying to push it so he can manage Liverpool and, dying wish. Do you know what I mean? Because he has got terminal cancer, and it's very sad. And as you said, you wouldn't wish that on anybody.
No, not at all.
And you truly don't realize what people are going through. You see them on sort of like on the pitch, like, as a footballers, or whether they be sort of like managers. You don't really know what they're going through. That season and day, I think it was a COVID season with Klopp and day, right? Klopp lost his mum. He lost his mum, and he and he couldn't go back to Germany to bury his mum. He couldn't go back to Germany to bury his mum and that. And also he was having bad games. You know what I mean? With bad results and all that. But people don't realize what these people are going through. You know what I mean? Just imagine that day losing your mum, and you cannot go and bury your mum. You have to keep on doing what you're doing. It's going to affect you. Do you know what I mean? So,
shocking.
Yeah, it's shocking.
Yeah.
So listen, that day, all the best to sort of like Sven-Göran Eriksson. I hope he does get his dying wish to manage Liverpool. You know what I mean? And listen, my thoughts and prayers are with you. As with everybody I know on this panel, thinks the same thing.
Of course.
Thoughts and prayers are with you.
Yeah.
That's a great comment there by Arsenal Manic. Last time Arsenal won the Premier League, we were all young.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was 42. Dear God, I had hair.
Yeah.
I had hair then.
Last time Arsenal won a Premier League title, I wasn't really that interested in football.
Interesting.
I wasn't interested in football at that point.
I mean, obviously, Big Morgan, and I think we had another person asking the same question. How good is Kevin De Bruyne?
He's good.
Class.
Quality, world class.
I think any team would have him in there, wouldn't they? Simple as that. There's no
He would,
two ways about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think what Man City is thinking of now. To be honest with you, they ought to bring in a player that can actually. Kevin De Bruyne can learn what he's learned. Do you know what I'm saying? And try to model him the way how he plays. Because let's be honest, Kevin De Bruyne, he's almost 32 now, and do you know what I'm saying? He's not getting any younger, and he's, I don't know, with Man City, what would you say? Most probably 3 seasons left, maybe till he's 35, and then he might leave and go on to another club, maybe. He's won everything now in his career, but this is what I say with the with the older players. It's nice to bring in a younger player so they can learn alongside them and adapt their philosophy in playing. To sort of that standard, and that's what Man City should be concentrating on at the minute. But if they do, but listen, they've got the money, haven't they? You know what I mean? They got money to bring in another world class player to refill his boots. So. But unfortunately, the likes of us at Arsenal, I mean, personally, I know it sounds a bit stupid, but if I was an Arsenal manager and we had someone like that at that age, I'll be bringing somebody in so they can learn off of somebody. We ain't got the X millions of pounds that Man City's got.
No.
So,
No.
But
I mean,
maybe they need to take Odegaard because, I mean, he's as good as a prime Zidane, isn't he?
Oh, God.
You can't listen. Don't put Odegaard and De Bruyne in the same sentence, man. I mean,
Oh, that's
Exactly.
true. That's very
Yeah.
true.
sorry,
Exactly.
but the Odegaard, all it is, right? I mean, all he's interested in, right, is just flipping his hair. That's all he's interested in.
Yeah.
Flip his hair.
Expected
Yeah.
Not
hair
it.
flicks.
Listen,
Yeah.
I tell you what,
Yeah.
how about Odegaard flip Arsenal a title?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
facts there, John. That's
I'm sounding like an Arsenal fan, am I? Sorry.
Question. Let me to an interesting question there. I mean, what's your oldest player in your squad? I mean, for us, it's Mikel Antonio. He's coming up to 34 now, so he's our eldest player in the squad, basically. What about you, Hot Fuzz? What's your eldest player?
The eldest player we've got on our team,
Is it Casemiro?
nope, Johnny Evans, I think.
Really?
Yeah, Johnny Evans, 36.
Wow.
Yeah, Johnny Evans about 36.
Yeah, Johnny
Bloody
Evans.
hell. Yeah, what about your team? Who's the eldest in your team?
Oh, well, I think it's Chris Woods.
Blimey,
I
yeah,
don't
that's-
know because I don't really look. I'm not a statistician, so I don't really look into those kind of things. But I would say it's probably Chris Woods. I don't think there's anybody any older than that. I mean, Sangori's 30 years old.
Yeah.
Danilo's a young guy. Yeah, Aurier maybe. Aurier's quite old as well.
Mm.
You know, I don't. I have no idea, to be honest.
It'd be interesting, mate.
Sorry, guys. I don't know everything about Forest and all that. You know,
What about you, John? What's the eldest in your
Nuno
team?
Santo. He's the
Nuno
oldest
said
one.
he's the oldest one of the year.
For me, I think it's Martin De Baca. He'll be 35 tomorrow.
Blimey.
Yeah, I've got mine wrong. It wasn't Johnny Evans. It's Tom Heaton. It's
Tom
it's
Heaton?
37.
37.
Oh, okay.
Evans
And
plays-
at the retirement home, what's the oldest one at the retirement home?
El Nene, he's 32, going into 33.
Blimey.
Oh.
Project Youth.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about your comparison of people saying, "Oh, we've got our own Kevin De Bruyne and Martin Odegaard." Well, guess what? You've also got your own Bernardo Silva and Fabio Vieira too. You got two of City's better midfield players in your team.
Mm.
Oh,
Well, that leads me up to the next thing, and also this is Coach George has just touched on this as well. Arsenal in Dubai, chilling, Mikel eating steak with Salt Bay, people on yachts, embarrassing.
Banter FC.
People's opinion on this. What do we think about this one?
It's
Right.
a piston.
I could go into this seriously deep. But I'm not going to 'cause I'm a guest, right? It's a disgrace. You're rewarding failure.
Mm.
Fact. You lose to a football club in the third round of the FA Cup, my favourite trophy in the domestic window, and you reward failure. You go out. Yeah, you go out to Dubai, living the high life, having a great time. Take the wife, take the kids, leave the dog at home. Great, fantastic. You know, it's you can't make it up, can you?
No, he can't make it.
They should be out. They should be up, walking up and down
Flying
the
the plane.
Brecon Beacons, right, with a £60 backpack on with the SAS, showing them the real life, like Brian Clough did when he sent his team down to train with the Marines
Yes.
back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
an absolute bloody disgrace. And you see that this arsewipe prick of a manager,
I'll swipe you.
right, sat in Salt Bay, yeah, eating his steak that costs about 1,200 bastard quid, right,
Yeah, Drew.
off his sword, yeah, you absolute numpty, right, piss off out.
it's
Because I'll tell you this right now, when that game finished and the Cronkies were applauding a loss against Liverpool Football Club, they go into that changing room. I guarantee you £1 million, they were not saying, boys, get out to Dubai, have a bloody great time. We're picking up the tab. bullshit. It's all the match day fans that are picking that tab up. And I tell you what, I'm bloody glad I don't have a season ticket. I'd be seriously pissed off if I'm paying $3,500, right? $3,500 minimum. That's the lowest you pay for a red ticket, right? I would be putting in a complaint to the club saying, what am I paying for? Why am I paying for these guys to go out and have a great time? Oh, team bonding. Yeah, or team bond down in bloody Hackney Marshes then, right? Go down there and have a hard time. Yeah, go on a seriously bloody muddy pitch and have a bad day out because you are an absolute bloody disgrace, Arteta. You're a prick and get out of my club.
Yeah.
Go on, Jeff. Go on,
It's so typical that the hipster manager, the hipster's favorite manager, is spending time being fed meat by the Zoomers, Gen Z's hipster personality and Salt Bay.
Yeah,
I mean, so typical. I mean, I bet you all the Arteta sexuals are absolutely just they're in ecstasy. The rooms have been painted white.
Exactly.
It's just yeah, it's just a constant piss take. That's what it is. And then just mentions about obviously the FA Cup. I like the FA Cup as well. But let's be honest with you. Why the hell would that team deserve a fucking break in Dubai? They've had one win in 7 games. Count the FA Cup game against Liverpool. Add them all up. It's 1 win in 7 games. Yeah. Oh, I know. I think the lads need a break. Oh, yeah, we need to go to Dubai and all this and that. Piss off. You stay at home with your families. You go training, and then you train. They should be home in this country now training. They should be having a bollocking. I didn't know why Stan and Josh Kroenke can't come all the way from America to here to give them a bollocking. Give the players a bollocking, give Edu a bollocking, and give Mikel Arteta a bollocking. And say to them, if this ain't fucking changed, your jobs are on the line. You're out.
You know what it is, though?
Let them have a bit of life what we have when we're fucking working in jobs. Yeah. You know, when we have warnings and God knows what else.
You know what it is, though? I think what it is with the Kroenkes, to be fair, and then they have put people like Edu in charge. They have put people like Arteta in charge, and say, right, you deal with the team. If you need players at the end of the day, you know, and we can afford it, come to us. But this is your job. You deal with the team. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So really and truly, I don't see why sort of like Kroenkes have to come all the way from America. Let their man deal with it. This is what they're getting paid for. This is what Arteta's getting big bucks in the day to manage our football club. Yeah. Edu is getting paid big bucks in the day to be the director of like football or whatever his title is. Do you know what I mean? They're getting big bucks in the day. They shouldn't need at the end of the Kroenkes to come from all
he's director of Toes.
To was it a rocker underneath their arse and say, you know, get it together. They shouldn't need that. They should be doing that anyway because you're getting frigging paid. You know what I mean? Now what needs to happen, and there needs to be happen in Arsenal. There needs to be some strictness. Yeah, there needs to be that. I'm not your friend. I'm your manager. Yeah. One of them ones. I'm not your friend. Yeah. You know, if you've got any problems at the day, come to my office and we'll talk about it. But other than that, right, there's a line. I'm not your friend. I'm not your brethren. It don't go like that. I am your manager, and I want you guys at the day to get results. And if you don't get results and everything that, I'm going to put you on the transfer list. Simple as that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There needs to be a moment of strictness at the day from Arteta, Edu, and all them sort of people there. Now, and it doesn't need the Kroenkes that they fly all the way from America to come to England to like a rocket underneath Arteta's arse. It doesn't need that because what is it today, right? Arteta should be lighting a rock underneath their arses, the players. You know what I mean? If they feel it, all right, I know it's my team that beat them and everything that, yeah, right? But I'm speaking as a neutral, yeah? I'm speaking as a neutral here, not as a Liverpool fan. If they honestly think at the end of the day, right, yeah, the way that they be playing against Liverpool, Fulham, Villa, if they honestly feel it and that is good enough at the end of the day, right, well, they got another thing coming. That is not good enough. You're supposed to beat Villa if you want to be, in the title race. You're supposed to beat Villa, and you're supposed to beat Fulham, and you're supposed to beat West Ham. You're supposed to do that. Do you know what I mean? No disrespect to you, obviously, early doors at the day. No disrespect, but when you look at it in the day, they are supposed to beat those teams. Yeah, and that is down to Arteta. It's not down to the Cronkies. That's down to Arteta and his coaching staff.
Yeah.
So they need to get their act together. Don't worry about the Cronkies in there. They need to get their act together, because you think about it, right? Any player that Arteta's asked for Cronkies for, he's got. He asked for Declan Rice. They spent 105 million on him. Ferreira, what's it? Timber.
20p.
Yeah, Timber the lot. In the day, he's got it. He's got what he wants, and for that. Now at the day, it's up to you at the day to bring the results. If you cannot bring the results for that, do one.
The trouble is, though, you're getting owners coming into these clubs that don't understand the clubs at all. They don't understand the club's history. If they did, Arsenal would have a George Graham statue. You know what I mean? They don't understand any of that. They're not bothered about any of that.
Don't get me on that one, man, because I'm seriously go into it.
Go on, Jess. Go on.
Go on, Jess.
I swear to God, I would pay 100 grand to Arsenal Football Club. Let me run that club for 2 weeks. Let me run it. I'll tell you what, you'd see a difference. I'd run those little pussies into the ground.
Oh, yeah.
They wouldn't know what's bloody hit them in training. They would be there 12 hours a sodding day, right? And they would be doing sodding hard labour. Really hard labour. Not pussyfooting around, all nice PR pictures, stroking the dog. Bollocks. You'd be out there, mate, working your nuts off. And you would
probably get control of the toilet.
Not know what a day's work is about. Swear to God. So they would be running around, nicey, mate. They'd have a backpack on with a 12-pound weight in the back of it. Now go and do some training. And you can wear that all day, every day. Work like real men, because that's what people in real lives do.
Yeah.
Exactly. The good comment here.
200 grand a bloody week, mate. Sod off. Because you would be run into the sodding ground. And the bullshit I hear all the time about George Graham, man. Seriously, one of the best managers we've ever had at this football club. And he's been so disrespected. Yeah. And I see little fucking arsewipes, come into my chat. Oh, you can't give him a statue. He went and managed Spurs. Who did what he did after he left Arsenal? he won more trophies in that tenure than he was here than bloody Wenger did. In that tenure.
6 trophies in 8 years. 6 trophies in 8 years, George Graham.
He won our 2nd European trophy.
Yeah.
And we haven't got any gold stars for them. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ almighty, you can't make it up at this bloody
football. The mic, Jez. Drop the mic.
Yeah.
Can I come in as well, guys? So I can come in as well. I mean, Jez about George Graham. I tell you what, Kai Havertz wouldn't even last 10 seconds of him. No way.
Yeah. I mean, there's a good comment here from Niagara Canada Gooners. Welcome into the chat. Hello from Canada. Going training minus 30 degrees and do underwater ice baths, all the lot of them, and that's a fair comment. If you want to learn to do things, learn it the hard way.
Yeah.
I mean,
going back to George Graham, that's the reason why. That's the reason why Les Ferdinand he went to Newcastle instead of Arsenal for 5 million because Les Ferdinand did not want George Graham to be his manager. He preferred Kevin Keegan. Right, and that is the reason why a lot of players back then they knew what George Graham was like. He didn't stand any messing around at all because you was gone out on that bit like Brian Clough in one way. Do you know what I mean? So that's why we couldn't we couldn't sign anybody. And to help us that season when George Graham was sacked, we finished 12th that season. Guess what? We signed 3 players that season. We signed in from Sweden, Stefan Schwartz, and then in the January we signed no word of lie. We signed Chris Kawamia and John Artson. That was the 3 players we signed that season. and that was the only players that came to Arsenal and wanted to basically play under George Graham. Nobody else ever did because the way how he was. But he was a good manager and didn't stand there messing around.
You're going to understand what I say, right? Just touching it a little bit. I understand what I say when you look at Franz Beckenbauer and then Mande. You can literally see how the culture's changed in football. Back in them days and from that, right? A lot of these players at the day, right? Yeah, the reason why they were so good because they were run through a brick wall for their team. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And if a manager said to them to do something, they would do it. No questions asked. They would do it. Do you know what I mean? And they'll do it to the best of their ability. I don't see a lot of that now in football. Do you know what I mean? No. I see people in the day, right? Just footballers just getting by to get by. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Or I'm injured at the day. I'm gonna have like 4 or 5 months off, right? With full pay and everything that, right? And if I want to come back 5 months later, I'll come back. It's just a lot of bollocks. Do you know what I mean? There has to be a structure, right? Put in Arsenal Football Club. The players has to be a structure put in there, right? Is that we are not gonna mess about. We have got standards at this club, and if you cannot meet those standards at the day, right? Get out the door. We don't want you here. You understand what I'm saying? But what I see at the day is a lot of pussyfooting around. It's not just Arsenal. There's other clubs like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
A lot of pussyfooting around with these players. The players getting what they want at the end of the day, and don't even have to work for it, but they're getting what they want. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? And now what's happening? Teams like your Arsenal and other teams at the day, right? It's showing now. All that frigging about they used to do, it is showing now. We was that as well. We was that as well in the early 90s, and we was buying players at the day, right? That sort of like shouldn't even be playing for Liverpool Football Club, but we was buying them. And what happened in the day? We got knocked out the FA Cup, right? With to Bristol Rovers or Bristol City. Do you know what I mean? This shit happens. You know what I mean? Unless you install some form of strictness in the club and for that. So look, we're not standing for this. And we got standards. We are Arsenal Football Club, or we are Man United Football Club. We are Chelsea Football Club, and so on. We have got standards, and you have to meet those standards. That's what it comes down to.
Of course, it's a fair point there, Unks. Because if you look at it, I mean, you've just mentioned one club there, and I will come to Hot Fuzz on this. You've obviously got the Glazers in charge. Now you've got Radcliffe in there. So if you look at one club that's in the mire, as much as we're saying about Arsenal, Man United, that's a rebuild from the get-go, basically, that one. I mean, I've heard you on your shows before on this subject, Hot Fuzz, but elaborate more on it if you like to, because I think we've all got our own opinions about each club that we support.
Yeah, the whole process that we've got to undergo, I don't think there is a quick fix for this. I think there's whichever way we want to go about changing things up, getting rid of players, changing managers, instilling a new culture at the club where people actually are there for the sake of playing for Manchester United, and that be priority number one. Actually playing with a bit of pride to represent the badge on your shirt. I suppose the big question is just which way around does this ownership or the people that are coming in, which way around do they do this? Do they stick with the manager, get rid of the players first and look to bring in players that can actually pull their weight? Or do you get rid of the manager first and try and get these players to somehow play better, even though we've kind of seen that they haven't done that for every other manager previously for 10 years. It always ends the same way. And which way you go from there, I suppose it's one of those, which is the quickest, because I don't think there is a quick way with this. It is going to be a solid case that there's going to be a lot more, anarchy or stress or ugly watches for football games and teams with players that we don't want to have at this club. I mean, we're all saying that Ineos here. I can't wait for Ineos to get stuck in. they might go into the summer transfer window and buy a load of players that are just absolutely terrible or woeful. They might not click in Manchester United shirts. We might sit here halfway through next season and say, oh, yeah, half the players that we got rid of, I wish they were still here. You know, and that's kind of the reality of it. And when you go this far down this this garden path, it's kind of it's really hard to sort of gauge the whole situation and think, yeah, that's definitely the way out. That's definitely going to be the fix. That's definitely going to make things better, because you're surrounded. It's like being stuck at the bottom of the ocean. It's like, well, which way do I go?
Yeah.
And how
No,
long
it's true.
for? Well, of course, you've got to go up, but I mean, how bloody long do you have to go before you even get
This is
anywhere?
the thing. Because I will come to John, because if you look at it on the flip of the coin, Mr. Or shall I say the Moneybags Club, you're kind of blessed with money, aren't you, at the moment? But you, at the same point, your owners are being very careful how they're doing things. I mean, how did you feel when they first come in and took over the club, John?
For me personally, it's like winning the lottery as well, winning the jackpot. We had a takeover. We needed a takeover at Newcastle United because it's well documented with Mike Ashley. He's got no ambition whatsoever. Yeah, appoints crap managers, right, like Steve Bruce, right? And I'm going to be honest with him because he was. I wanted him out before he even came in, by the way. But
John Carver.
Chris Hughton was good. Then he got sacked for Aaron Pardew. Pardew's there for 4 years, and then Dotson Rafa, then Steve McClaren, which was a complete utter waste of time. Gets Rafa Benitez done a great job as well. For me, I thought they were always going to buy the club, man. The Stevie, she never gave up her dreams of buying the club for the Saudis and was going to take over. Fantastic. And then all the fans were saying that, we're going to get more salary, we're going to get Mbappe. That was never, ever going to happen, by the way. It's always going to be a project, yeah, step by step, yeah. And at the minute, it's still step by step. But for me, I mean, we can spend what we want, but unfortunately, this FFP has come into play, and we can only spend what we can bring in. So I'm afraid to say it, I'm so gutted at that because, like I said earlier, they're protecting the big six. But saying that, oh man, I mean, I just hope that we don't have to sell our big players like Bruno, Isak, and Sven Botman. But we've got to wait and see what happens in the summer, mate, because the fact is, right, anything can happen in the summer. And you can still get rid of deadwood players and improve, but this FFP, like Jess said earlier on, could be a good thing. But at the same time, we can only spend the money what's coming in. But the good news is, though, we're getting Adidas coming in the summer. So our shirts sponsor going to be Adidas. So hopefully we can spend a bit more money.
It's interesting. I mean, what about you? How's your club fare? I mean, like your chairman, he's got bags of money, or is he?
Well, I mean, I don't know about bags of money, but I mean, he keeps putting the money forward and all that kind of stuff for what we're trying to do. And, the way we're going at the minute with Santo, I mean, I was quite surprised, actually, because everyone was saying, he's a really defensive coach and all this, that, and the other. And some of the things that we're actually doing up front since he's come in has been really enlightening. You got Morgan Gibbs-White getting a lot of space in the middle, which is like deadly to most teams. And he has actually gone sort of low/mid block as well, which is what I always wanted. The thing is, I have an issue with low block is you've got a lot of really good players in the Premier League who can take good free kicks. So if you're doing a low block and you're tackling them at that point outside the area and you're giving away fouls, Ward-Prowse, there's many Trent or Alan, wherever his name is, Trent, and I mean, and they can put the ball in from that point. So I never liked the low block. So now he's doing the mid block and actually getting the attacking going as well. I'm quite happy with what's going on. The chairman, the owner, puts the money in. And if players don't perform, then he's got connections and all that kind of stuff. So you just wake up in the morning with an horse's head on your pillow.
It's very true. Good question here from Coach Jordash again. What's the panel's forgotten talents? Mine is Shevchenko.
Oh, Shevchenko.
I mean, anyone else got a forgotten talent?
There's a lot of them, isn't there?
Yeah, there is really. I mean, like that's a show in itself, isn't it? That one.
Yeah.
Yowie Lippman.
I don't know, Park Ji-sung.
Yeah.
For United,
yeah.
a lot of
Amazon.
people. Well, I mean, not
I
really.
think there is one that he was a very good player, good striker, but he came to us and then went to West Ham and wasn't that great for both of us. That was the Croatian striker, Davor Suker.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, he's good. He was good, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's a forgotten talent.
Carl Ross
that's
is a
true.
good one. Adel Tarat,
Yeah, that's
very,
yeah,
very
that's another
skillful
one.
player.
Yeah.
There's loads of them, isn't there? That all of a sudden, apparently, the next big thing, and then all of a sudden they just drift off, and you don't even see him. Bentley for Tottenham, he was supposed to be the next big thing. There's loads of them.
Yeah, we had with us young Freddie Sears. He was supposed to kind of, rip
Yeah,
up
that's
trees.
another. Yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
Ended up playing in the lower leagues. Vidal Sassoon, Odegaard.
You say Vidal Sassoon?
Yeah.
Matty Shooter, he was a class player.
Yeah, he was a good player, wasn't he? Yeah, absolutely. I liked him.
I'm trying to think crikey, who was the other German player we had at Arsenal for a little bit?
Podolski.
Podolski.
Mm.
Was he? I thought he's Polish.
He is, but no, he played for Germany. He was born in Poland. I think what it was, his mum was Polish and his dad was German.
Right.
And that was what I think it was. So he had the connection of either both playing for either Poland or playing for international club Germany, but he decided to go to Germany. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
There was another player like that, wasn't there? There's another player like that, Polish player like that. That was.
We've got one of them playing at us now. Declan Rice. He used to play for the Republic of Ireland. He
snaked him, didn't he?
Yeah. Jack Grealish is another one with Ireland in England. You know? I mean, Ryan Giggs, when he was younger, he played for England schoolboys.
That's right.
And then went in to play for Wales.
Yeah, they said he wasn't. They said he wasn't good enough to play for England, didn't they? How wrong they were.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Just going on some of the chats here. I mean, obviously, Friday we had Burnley and Luton play their game, and obviously it ended up a draw. But I think there was a contentious decision. If I'm rightly, company wasn't happy with a certain challenge that went in the game. Can anyone elaborate on that?
I didn't see the game, unfortunately.
Yeah, wasn't exactly the greatest game, was it?
Yeah. When I see Luton and Burnley as a fixture, I think there's many things I could do that are way more exciting and interesting than watching that game.
Watching that paint dry.
Yeah.
Well, I knew it was going to be a draw, 1-1 draw. But we didn't. Well, in all fairness, if you remember correctly, we was on Jez's channel at that time at 7:30 on Friday. So we didn't watch the game. I simply forgot about the game, to be honest with you. So but if I would have most probably have predicted a draw between the both of them. But I got to be honest with you, everybody goes on about a team with fighting spirit and that. And I think that one of the lowest teams that's down at the bottom of the Premier League, and I'm going to be honest with you, was when we beat them 4-3 was Luton. Because they had so much fighting. They played with passion in that game. They played with a backbone. We were lucky to win that game. With Declan Rice getting the winning goal, being at the right place at the right time. Yeah. But I will say, and I always say, the best team lost on that night, which was Luton Town for me.
Yeah,
and,
100%.
Guys, while we're here, sorry, Anthony, just to interrupt. While we're here, that John's got to go beddy bye-byes, and it's been a pleasure having him on the channel. Thanks very much for your time, John.
Thank you very much indeed, guys, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.
Away the lads!
We're the lads.
I'll see you tomorrow, John. I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, mate. See you tomorrow. You too, lads. What do we do, real ones?
Take care.
That question, That's El Neni, man.
Yes, I thought it was El Neni.
Mo El Neni.
All I need now is for Sheffield to get more than 11 points, so Derby County still remain the shittest team in the Premier League.
Oh yeah. Oh, you've forgotten a minute.
Yeah.
And what do we think about just going on with yesterday's game? Obviously, the AFCON started yesterday, but they also had the big protest, the Reading game. It's Port Vale, and the game got abandoned.
What protest like what?
Basically, it's to do with the owner of Reading.
All right.
Apparently, he is really the club is in the mire. I mean, we say about our clubs, but Reading apparently this chairman is literally destroying it from the ground upwards.
Right.
So the fans actually took it. They were throwing, I think it's tennis balls, you name it, they threw it.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah,
Did they chuck grenades?
Doing that for weeks, haven't they? Throwing the tennis balls.
Yeah, yeah.
Yesterday, they invaded the pitch, and that was it.
I believe it's a set hashtag sell before we die movement, but the die is spelled DAI, which I think is the name of their owner.
Right.
there's actually a game playing now. Is Garner against Cape Verde, is it, or something like that?
Cape Verde.
Yeah, they're playing now against Garner. So I don't know what the score is there, but
Portuguese, that place there. Portuguese, Cape Verde.
yeah.
See, Mama Floss's. That's what it is. He's literally sold everything.
Oh my!
The chairman for Reading. He's literally sold everything. You know, even the kitchen sink. You might as well say. That's how bad it is there. It's really bad. Apparently.
Family silver as well.
Yeah.
They used to be owned by the guy that set up Auto Trader, didn't they?
Yes.
That's
He
right.
went on to was it Portsmouth? He went to.
Okay.
He went to Portsmouth as well. He bought them afterwards. Remember rightly? What was his name there?
Can't think of his name now.
God, bloody hell.
Multi-millionaire.
And then that's when he sold the club to the fake sheikh.
Milkshake.
yeah. Fuzz. It was Fuzzy's doing his. Fuzzy bought Portsmouth.
Medeski.
He's got his shit next to him.
Was it Medeski?
That's it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
It was called the Medeski Stadium, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he's putting it across. And obviously, Chelsea beating Fulham. So we didn't expect that. I think it was. Again, it wasn't exactly an exciting game, was it?
No, not really, mate. They just scraped that, pal. They scraped that, mate. That was like watching paint dry as well, mate.
Yeah. You'd have it though, wouldn't you? Like a scraped win. I mean, it's still 3 points, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's the fact that for Brian Morrissey, look at that. Reading have been deducted 16 points since 2021.
Wow.
Because
Paul Ince still there.
No, he got bounced off ages ago.
Got rid of him, did
Yeah.
Before they got relegated to League One.
He got
Tom
relegated.
Ince, he's another he's another forgotten player that is supposed to be the next big thing as well. Tom Ince.
Yeah, he does it definitely as well. When he goes,
Yeah.
You see that one there, Jess? How come no one talks about how good Gilberto Silva was? It's always Vieira and Fabregas with the flowers underrated. True.
Yeah, I mean, he was a class player, man. Brazilian international. You know,
Silva.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I think you have to remember, in that team, he was a class player. Don't get me wrong, class player. But there were so many players around him that were slightly better. I mean, that was an amazing football team. You know, one of the best I've ever seen in my lifetime. I'll never see a team like that again at Arsenal. There's no question. And unfortunately, he gets underrated because of what was around him at the time. You know, and it's sad. And he was class, man. Absolutely.
He was. You know what it was? I think the only criticism of him that he was a bit injury prone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Other
Gilberto
than
Silva.
Other than that, he was a good player. He's a great player. I remember Champions League. I'm sure was it against PSV? It was against one of his teams, and at that time he scored one of the fastest Champions League goals.
Yeah, do you know Gilberto Silva was the first Arsenal player to score the goal at the Emirates. We had Aston Villa that day. We drew 1-1. Melberg scored for Villa. They're the centre backs, and Gilberto Silva equalised. So yeah, he was the first player to ever score at the Emirates. I don't know if that question's coming up in the quiz soon, Jez, but I've already answered it. I'm joking.
He's checking it out, no.
So that's why I'm pointing at you already. He's on the scoreboard already.
I'm on the scoreboard.
I'm going to have to take it out. Seriously. I might keep it in and say what was the exact minute that he scored.
I bet Kenny Ken gets that right. I'll get it wrong. I'll be like 2 minutes out, and Kenny Ken will get that spot on.
Kenny Ken's like a wealth of knowledge, isn't he? He's just like
He's relentless. He's relentless.
Do you know, honestly, I tell you what, I lost to Kenny Ken on the quiz on Jez's program. I lost by 1 point.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
1 point.
Well, looking at William Hooper's question here and there, he said, "Did West Ham beat us at the Emirates on our first game there?" I may be wrong. So if you look at it, we're the last team to beat you at the Highbury and the first team to beat you at the Emirates.
You were. Yep. Fact.
I'll take 2 points for that, Jess.
Yeah.
Are you coming on, Ting?
Huh?
You coming on?
I'll give it a go, mate.
Oh, brilliant.
The next quiz is a general football quiz. It's not Arsenal.
Oh, I can't come in. Never mind, Anthony, I can't come on, mate.
Yeah,
why not?
I could be as clueless as your manager when doing Arsenal quiz. I can go on to that one.
It's general. There might be an odd West Ham question in there.
There are. I've already written it. I've already written it, man.
It's already written, yeah.
It's 40 questions, and it's everything about football. Every club: Nottingham Forest, West Ham, Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, England, international World Cups, and Super Cups as well. Go and research your Super Cups.
Yeah. I mean, I was the only one in the last quiz. I was the only one that got this question right. And the question was that, because obviously Jez made the question up, he said, on the stream, how many pints did Yeti drink on one stream? And I said 15. I said 15.
That's fact.
He's a G, you know. Yeah, he's a G.
Yeah, go. Suggestion for quiz for the question: if Henry's XG exceeds Arteta's control freak metrics, how many snot hair flicks would that yield for Odegaard? That's a good question. Yeah,
Odegaard get at least 7 hair free. I mean, that quiz will be in about 3 weeks.
Brilliant. Looking forward to that. So anyway, guys, we've just gone over 2 hours now, and it's been a good show so far, and we're coming to an end. So if we can go through the panel, I'm going to start with Hot Fuzz. If you'd like to bounce out your channel, please, mate.
Yeah, so Hot Fuzz 44 OG on YouTube, also feature on Instagram as well. Use the same profile picture, so quite easy to find and use the same handle as well. Thank you very much for the invitation onto the show. Really appreciate it. If you are watching from my channel for this stream, the link to Early Doors' stream is featured in the title. I don't think it's the title, I think it's description, as well as the links to everybody else on the panel's channels that is featured on today. So make sure that you subscribe to everybody that is featured on this show. And make sure that wherever it is you've been watching from, like those streams, because there's all good content with some fantastic content creators. So big ups to everybody on the panel, big ups to everybody in the chat, all good stuff. And
Thanks very much, mate. Thank you. I'm just going to answer this question before I go to the other guys. Coach George asked, did Jermaine Defoe come through the ranks at West Ham? No, he did not. He come from Charlton. He come from there, basically.
Charlton? Gee,
yeah.
He's from East London. He's from East London,
but yeah, he's a Charlton boy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Anthony,
I mean,
your turn, son.
I forgot what I was going to bloody say now. Yeah, that
You were going to say you're a prick.
right. Yeah, you can find me on Football United TV where I do a show called Gunners from All Corners. That's going to be airing this Thursday at 9 o'clock, and also I'm going to be doing on Sunday. That is going to be back the Premier League weekend show. That's going to be airing around about 7 o'clock, maybe just before. And that's it. Just make sure you like, subscribe to this channel, and make sure you follow all these guys here as well because they do a fantastic job. You know, Jez does a fantastic job. You know, he just wants his club to do well. Same as me. I want my club to do well. Make sure you subscribe to Hot Fuzz. You know, he's doing good content, and also subscribe to Early Doors. Uncle Rod's, make sure you subscribe to his channel. He does good content as well. And Yeti, well, what you said about me on last night's show, you're a fucking pervert. And Hot Buzz knows he was there. And that's it. Make sure you all like and subscribe to everybody's shows.
Brilliant.
Blessing.
Uncle Rod's.
Listen, it's been a great show. It's been a great show, and listen, if you want me for next week, I'm here. It's been a great show to chop it up with fellow brethren of football. It's been great. It's been great to catch up. Do you know what I mean? Jez, I'm going to give you a shout for Wednesday. For show on Wednesday if you're free on Wednesday, and bring Anthony with you as well. Do you know what I mean? Need to get you both on my show on Wednesday if I can. Listen, it's been a great show. Make sure you subscribe to each and every one on his channel. But I also want to make sure you subscribe to Early Doors because he put this together. He put this brilliant panel together, and I've enjoyed myself. Do you know what I mean? So big ups to you, Early Doors, man. Big ups to you. Man. So people, make sure you like and subscribe to Early Doors football for Early Doors podcast TV. Make sure you subscribe to him, please. You can find me at Anfield Uncle Rods on YouTube. Do a number of shows like debate shows, match reactions, match previews, sometimes the odd watch along, sometimes, you know what I mean? And just general shows like that where we can all come together and have a reasonable chat, agree to disagree, and enjoy ourselves. Most of all, enjoy ourselves.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Big up Yeti. Please, I'm going to get you on one of my shows very soon. I'm going to contact you because great guy. Anfield Uncle Rods on YouTube, Anfield Uncle Rods on Twitter, and the same on Instagram. You can find me there. And also find me with these great guys. These guys are great. Great. Totally great.
Yeti?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know what my show's all about. You know, I talk it real. It's all, you know, there's no bullshit apart from when Jez is on. He talks so much shit. It's unbelievable.
You're so wrong.
You know, I have to sort of like rein him in at certain points. And I've got also coming up like a Forest Arsenal watch along with Jez, which is going to be absolute fire. It's going to be absolutely awesome. So make sure you're there for that. Big up to Early Doors, Rods, Hot Fuzz, and Anthony. Anthony's a twat, but you know, he's all right. But, you know, big up to all of these guys. Make sure you subscribe to them all. We all create really good content and things like that. And we're just here to like have a chat. And also, one thing I want to say is we did the bullying video ages ago. Yeah. So if anybody's having those struggles or anything like that, or needs any help, or needs somebody to talk to, Instagram, Long-Eared Yeti, you know, just drop me a message or whatever, and I'll try and help you through it. I'll also do a private stream with you if you want to do that, so you can talk and just get things out off your head and get things out of your mind. I'm no problem with that. Long-Eared Yeti's Cave, big up, man. Cheers for having me on.
You're welcome, mate. You're welcome. And Jez?
Yeah, mate. Thanks for having me on as always. Great show. Loved it. It's always great to be here with other great content creators. You know, we talk the facts, and it's a great, lovely, calm chat. I apologise for my rant earlier.
No problem.
But yeah, it's great fun, and
it's a great time of the month. We understand it.
you know, one day Jed's gonna fill you in one day. You know that, don't you? He's gonna say, "Listen, I've had enough of you."
Yeah, you couldn't make it up with this guy, could you?
Never.
Seriously.
Absolutely,
mate.
Never apologise.
Thanks for having me on, man. It's
You're
Arsenal
welcome, mate, you know
that. Go and support all these great people. You know, they do great stuff. Early doors, man. Thanks you once again for coming and inviting me on.
Welcome,
I'm looking forward to the next one. And I'm looking forward to the Yeti's going to set up a weekly show where I can actually rip him to pieces. So I'm looking forward to that, man.
We've got a name for the show as well: the Airy Bollock and the Bell End.
Yeah.
And just on new shows and that, if you look at the top 3 panelists, that's myself, Hot Fuzz, and Arteta You Prick, or Anthony as we normally know him as. On Wednesdays at 8:30, we're going to have the good, which is myself, the bad, which is Hot Fuzz, and of course the ugly bastard, Anthony.
I'll tell you what, that should have been Man United. we planned this, and what it was, the good was West Ham, how good they are playing this season. The bad was Arsenal, and the ugly was obviously Man United because they're like, what, 8th in the league? Something like that, 8th or 9th?
We're back above Chelsea.
And Tony's got it round.
Andy Herbert's not having that, mate.
Nah. Well, I'll get him back. I'll get him back on one of my
issues. All they've got to do is Arsenal got improved, and I can swap it around. But until that stage, that's where they stay.
Okay.
You know?
I think Mama Flossie wants me to be the good one.
Well, you have. I've actually said it, and that you have got the voice for YouTube. Hot Fuzz. even when he's upset, he's still calm. Do you know what I mean? I swear he's born in Jamaica. You're Jamaican, aren't you?
It's one of those. They go, press 1.
To speak to a member of a customer service team. Press
I
1.
can imagine him sitting down in Jamaica by the beach and everything, just chilling. You know what I mean? Drinking sort of like a cocktail or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Tell you what, I do want to be doing that. If I grow my channel big enough and United start winning Premier Leagues again, I'm going to be sat on a beach in the south coast of Portugal, living my life up. I'll probably be in the process of hearing Lee Gunner up the coast in Spain screaming his head off that Arsenal's in the gutter, quite possibly. But I'll be living a good life, hopefully. That's the dream.
Yes, my friend. Yes, my friend.
When's that? Is that going to be a Wednesday night? Did you say, boys?
Yeah, Wednesday night, 8:30.
It's Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
I'll make sure I remember that. So I normally stream with Kenny about 6 o'clock on a Wednesday or Tuesday, depends. I'll make sure I catch up with that one.
No, brilliant. Thanks, mate.
Definitely.
It's at 8:30, I think, is the original planned.
8:30, yeah.
8:30, yeah. So other than that, panelists, as always, it's a pleasure having on board here at the old Ruby Murray. It's been a good night. It's been a good chat. It's going to be a good laugh. And as always, a great chat of people. Can't without these guys, it doesn't make the conversation flow like it does. So we all appreciate them all the time. You guys coming onto the chat, it's been brilliant. As always, some good humour and stuff. And we're looking forward to next Sunday when we can catch up again, doing this again. So other than that, people,
just one more thing. Early doors.
Go on.
Anthony Hart, you prick.
So just to end
I prefer if Jess did it. It sounds better.
As always, I'm Early Doors Football TV. The rest of my panelists are the great hosts that come with me in there, and this is the Sunday Night Football Takeaway Show. Enjoy the rest of your evening and enjoy your week, and we'll see you next Sunday. Good night for now, and God
Peace.
bless. Take
Peace.
care.
I'll tell you, prick.
Peace.